My name's Holly Paris. I'm the GP Care Home Lead for Peer Health and the Clinical Lead for Frailty. Back in March, April of this year, we watched on as our colleagues in London and subsequently in the Midlands and the north of England were awash with cases of COVID, and really quite worried about what would happen when that infection arrived with us in the southwest, particularly in Weston-super-Mare. Which is an area that has a higher than average elderly population and also increased levels of frailty. It became increasingly obvious to us that if we were to see the sorts of levels that were hitting London and the Midlands, then our services would be overwhelmed. And we wondered what we could do in response to this situation that would bring together the resources that we had. So we set up an acute frailty virtual ward round, bringing together colleagues from across the board. So our social care colleagues, our psychiatry colleagues, our community nursing colleagues, geriatrician, GPs, the acute medical team at the hospital at front door, the GEMS team, all together into a single meeting where GPs or clinicians who may be experiencing difficulty trying to assess patients or interpret what was wrong with them in a very abnormal circumstance could seek advice and support and forward on the care. The concept of a virtual ward round is something that already exists across the country in many different localities. However, what we did in response to the COVID pandemic was significantly different in two ways. First off, we used the new circumstances we found ourselves in, where people needed to socially distance and work from home, an advantage, because we made our virtual ward round indeed virtual by the use of software platform Microsoft Teams. So to set time each day at 12 o'clock, cases would be prepared and clinicians would be given a slot time to come on and speak to a panel of experts about the patient that they had. The second unique selling point of our virtual ward round is that the clinician themselves are actually part of the conversation. So the case about the patient is being presented by somebody who knows them well and knows their situation well, which makes this really patient-centred care. Probably the biggest advantage of virtual ward round project was the friendships and relationships that have been built professionally by these meetings. There's certainly been a very educational component to them. The virtual ward round itself is very responsive. You can book on the same day or within the next 24 hours if you want to. The advice is live and we try and action as much as we can from conversations in that meeting rather than creating extra administration work for clinicians. And I think that the professional trust that has been built as a result of this virtual ward round is something that commissioners can't really put a price on.